Hey everyone, this is Antolito, and today we'll talk about using the terrain as a defensive measure. Now, hitting the deck and using the terrain is definitely a last-ditch effort. You would much rather try to outclimb or outrun or outmaneuver somebody rather than rely on the terrain, because at this point you concede the altitude advantage to everyone else on the field. So in this case, I've got a tail that I need to shake, and I use the terrain in order to do so. The reason why I picked the terrain defense maneuver, as you'll see when we take a look behind the plane, is that I've got an enemy 262 on my tail who already has better energy than I do, so I can't outrun him, I can't outmaneuver him, and there's also a 51H on my tail. At this point, I can only hope to get my tail cleared by a teammate, which there are none around, and the AA guns are not going to destroy a 262 before he destroys me. So in this case, I'm able to force him to crash because he gets too zealous trying to grab his kill. This next video showcases using the terrain to break gunnery angles. Now, you can't always force your tail to crash into a mountain, but you can use a mountain to break his line of sight to give you a breather. Early in the match, I've gotten myself in a pretty bad spot, putting myself in range of many enemies without anyone around to help me out. So I immediately duck in towards the mountain, and as you see, break gunnery angles and actually give myself some breathing room. And one of the key factors here is I get gun time back. I don't have to focus on outmaneuvering an opponent for a brief few seconds, and I can put some gun work in. So worst case scenario is, even if I am shot down, I have taken someone with me. In addition, I've also given myself extra time to live, which means my allies are starting to return to this fight, and I've got more options in terms of someone clearing my tail, or at least having my enemies pick somebody else to shoot besides me. Plus, I've gained a little bit of separation on my tails, so I can give myself the opportunity to pick up even more kills, or at least do more damage. Now we'll take a look at that same footage, but watch across my plane 6. We can see how the enemy reacts to a terrain defensive maneuver. We'll see some of the tails do something smart, and some of the tails do something not so smart. So immediately, once I get close to the mountain and break line of sight, some of the tails break off. However, you'll notice one of them actually pulls a correct maneuver, so to speak. Instead of going around the mountain, he comes up and over it. That's probably the best response to someone using the terrain defense technique, is to come up and around the terrain. That way you restore gunnery angles, and you don't really give up your advantage of being on his tail. Of course, that still does take time, which I use here to put in gun work and still get more kills. But that one tail is pretty persistent, and he stays on me. Now, I don't duck back behind the terrain again at this point, because I've got teammates now who are going to peel him off of me. But as you can see, using the terrain gave me that extra minute of life, allowed me to get more kills even if I was shot down myself, and ultimately end up winning the match. Hope you learned something. Thanks for watching.